The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie's newest film, starring Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant, Jeremy Strong being a huge fucking weirdo,
Henry Golding, Michelle
Yeah.
Dockery.
Yep. And Colin Farrell.
Of
Bringing up the
course.
rear.
Coach.
Jeez. Yeah. Coach is a great character, man. So it's funny because last time we talked about Guy Ritchie was just last year with his Aladdin live action remake. And Dave, how did you feel about that?
Might be one of my favorites of the live action remakes. Not that says a whole lot. I liked it more than the Lion King remake, I'll tell you that. I liked it more than Dumbo. There's some interesting parts too. I thought Mena Massoud was a really winning piece of casting as live action Aladdin. I liked Will Smith's turn as the genie as well. Ultimately, it's tough to get too much of a feel of Guy Ritchie's sensibilities directing that movie because it's, part of the Disney machine. It's an adaptation, But yeah, I think ultimately while it made $1.1 billion, no one looks on it too fondly, apart from children.
Yeah, no. And the thing is, Guy Ritchie has such a stout resume, right? Obviously created Snatch. I'm blanking on other films.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Those are his first two movies. Did the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Right, the Sherlock Holmes movies. That's what I was trying to think of. He has such a distinct style that's so pleasurable and just fun to watch. And though Aladdin might have been the best of the remakes, still felt like, why do we need these remakes? They're really necessary. Right. So to have him come back just less than a year later and drop what really feels like a classic Guy Ritchie film was just great to see. And I left the theater pretty satisfied and overall very happy with what I watched. How did you feel leaving The Gentleman?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not top tier Ritchie. This is not Lock, Stock. It's not Snatch. It doesn't have the film making panache that Ritchie kind of burst on the scene with the turn 2000. But it still has that that snappy, witty dialogue that we associate with him, and just a memorable cast of characters and winning casting. So it has all that DNA of Guy Ritchie doing original films, even if I have it a peg below his top tier stuff. But yeah, I think it's really fun, and even there's some issues, but I was satisfied as well.
So why don't we start with just kind of breaking down the main characters of the movie? So Matthew McConaughey playing Mickey, running this underground marijuana operation that's made him this millionaire. He's kind of like it's kind of like these different gangs, right? He's like the American in the gang, and there's like the Chinese gang. We don't really get introduced to too much of like the British like head of whatever gang there is out there. And Charlie Hunnam's his right hand man Raymond, who's kind of being what do you want to say, like blackmailed or extorted by Hugh Grant's
private eye,
so that he doesn't bring this to like the press. I don't know. It's a bit of like a convoluted plot, I think, a little bit, but basically where the conflict comes is Mickey's trying to sell his operation to Jeremy Strong, kind of foreseeing that the marijuana game is going to need someone with a little bit less blood on their hands, and Jeremy Strong is that person.
Right.
And Henry Golding's trying to also buy Mickey's operation, which he doesn't want to do. And you have Hugh Grant, who's in the middle of this, trying to extort whatever money he can for it. How did you? I mean, did you feel like the plot was good, made sense, coherent?
Yeah, I think the plot actually is pretty simple once you watch the movie and understand it, and the simple framing device of having Grant narrate to Hunnam and the audience what's happened it's told out of order with flashbacks and stuff. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was amusing, and I think it keeps your attention. But yeah, I mean, it's not too crazy. Again, like his other stuff, there's not really big twists beyond like the did he die in the beginning?
Right.
Turns out no, he didn't. About that, Other than that, nothing's that surprising.
Yeah. No, not really. I mean, I think there's a couple of moments where things kind of fall into place, right? Like the like Coach and his guys, and how
Yeah,
they kind of just happen to know like Mickey's being abducted by these Russian people, and that kind of comes in at the end out of nowhere a bit. Like, oh, this Russian
sure.
guy really is like the big bad of all of it,
Yeah,
and they're
he
able to
killed his
stop it.
son.
Yeah, it's a bit of like a twist, I guess, at the end, out of nowhere. Yeah, I also felt like, and this is going to be like a weird thing to, and we can come back around to his character. Henry Golding's character felt like he goes from being this like semi menacing, but kind of like overall just like a
Yeah,
middleman, to all of a sudden being like ready to just like rape his wife like at the drop of a hat. And I was like,
yeah.
where the hell is this coming from? Like that felt very like out of nowhere.
That definitely felt hamstrung in. But yeah, I mean, but like going in or as it's progressing, you're like, all right, Dry is the opportunistic,
Yeah.
rising in the ranks gangster. We understand what that means.
Uh-huh.
And then he gets a like bloodlust, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, the just hamstringing in the rape kind of
Yeah.
out of nowhere didn't really add anything.
No.
Kind of strange. Also, there's it definitely plays fast and loose with stereotypes
Mm.
and racial epithets. Right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
pretty crass. I don't know, regressive movie. I guess it's not openly spewing any bigotry, but it's just kind of playing with that stuff. And I guess the Asian characters are handled a little stereotypically. I think they say a license to kill at one point, which is
Mm.
you know a groaner for sure.
How did you feel about Jeremy Strong's character?
Probably my least favorite of the bunch. It's kind of a weird performance. The fashion was I liked his fits, but yeah, he's doing a weird accent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wasn't really exactly sure what he was going for in a lot of the movie. And I agree. Probably my least favorite character. I also feel like even though he's kind of like under or trying to undermine this whole operation, it makes a lot of sense, like why he's doing it and driving the price down of the operation. Just like the way he went out, just kind of like a bitch at the end. I was like, man,
Yeah,
like Mickey is just overall supposed to be this like I'm gonna get the upper hand no matter what all the time type of person. And I wish there'd been a bit more formidable there at the end.
sure.
Um, but you know who I loved in this movie was Charlie Hunnam. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. He's doing just kind of playing it straight and playing off of Grant, who is just being really flamboyant and really going for it. Yeah, really good presence. Like Hunnam there. Again, Hunnam's a guy who's has ups and downs as a leading man post Sons of Anarchy. But yeah, I think this is kind of him doing what he does best, just being kind of dashing, being a little debonair when they chase down those kids who see the window death. I really like that as well. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his movies recently: Triple Frontier,
yeah,
King
Lost City Z.
Arthur, Lost City of Z. I mean, a true up and down. when
Yeah,
when
King
you
Arthur
look at
was
these
Ritchie
movies.
too. Let's not forget.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a through line to like what movies he really hits in and what he doesn't. Obviously, I think most people would know him from like Sons of Anarchy, but
Definitely.
probably the movie I like him in most is Green Street Hooligans, and in that he plays this like charming, kind of menacing, soccer hooligan.
Hmm.
This he gets to just be charming again. I think people should just let him be charming more often.
Yep.
I think when he gets kind of shoehorned into these like tough guy scenarios, maybe he's not able to like let as much of that out. Like Triple Frontier, I actually forgot he was in that. Like,
Yeah,
totally forgot.
he's just muscular guy too in
Yeah.
that. Also, I mean, seeing Colin Farrell in basically anything is
Oh, yeah.
enjoyable. He's just so awesome. But man, I really like that music video they shot in the underground compound. And then I looked it up. That guy, Bugsy Malone, is actually a British grime artist. He's a real rapper. And I was like, I was in the movie. I was like, this song fucking rules. Can we release this? And this song is not released yet. I want to hear that song again. That was a banger.
Yeah, definitely tune into our Nostalgia Best of 2020 because I think that will be on there when it drops. Because I also was like, this is actually a pretty good music video. It looks fucking awesome. Yeah, and you mentioned Colin Farrell. I think he gets to be very Colin Farrell, but within like certain parameters, which I think rein him in well. when he gets to go full Colin Farrell, it doesn't
Right.
always work out, but kind of being this more like subdued, like I'm just doing what I have to do to like be an honorable person, it like really seemed to like fit him for this. So really enjoyed him in this movie as well. And Grant, you already mentioned being, extremely flamboyant and provocative.
Saying the C word 100 times.
Yeah, but isn't it nice to kind of see him in the second part or second or third act of his career
Yep.
really start to just like pick weird roles and like,
Not be rom-com guy.
yeah, like I feel like he's kind of always had this, but just kind of got roped into like
Yep.
handsome but not overly handsome British guy, you know?
Yep, absolutely. What did you think of the Miramax logo? That definitely popped up in the movie. I was like, damn, interesting that they kept that in. Like this movie, STX bought this movie from Miramax, which is obviously many since removed from the Weinstein connections, but it's kind of interesting to see kind of a relic of the film industry actually featured literally in the movie. Like they actually go to Miramax in the story at the end,
Yeah. Yeah, I was like a bit taken back by it, but I was like, it's one of those things. I didn't have too many notes on that. What else stood out to you about the movie? What else did you really like?
No, I think that's it. It's just, it's just kind of that fun, quick moving nature of Guy, even if it's not his most intelligent or impressive from a filmmaking standpoint. It's still, I think, a good time. It's kind of playing to, I guess, the Ritchie base. This is a movie that, you look at the audience breakdown for the box office, it's overwhelmingly male. It's overwhelmingly adult. It's not probably the most inviting story. I guess it's kind of hard to sell too, because it's just really such a foul-mouthed English gangsters fucking killing each other and looking good doing it. It's simple, but it's enjoyable. Especially for a January movie. I'm very satisfied.
If there's one critique of it, it's probably that, there's really only one female in the movie. She is a badass.
She is.
But, also playing just a supporting role to Mickey.
Still playing a wife.
We saw McConaughey in Serenity last January. Definitely a step up for January movies for him. Definitely. How did you feel about him in the movie?
He's just doing his normal thing. He's like, those are juvenile numbers, man. We got to get these marijuana sales up. He's just doing what he's done the last 5 years. He's in the Lincoln commercial. He's in Wolf of Wall Street. It's the same shit.
Yeah. I got it.
The silverback, whatever.
I got to say, I really enjoyed when he was like, it's my vice, but I don't partake. I literally like laughed out loud in the theater. I was like, you're like known for getting high constantly. Like how like now in this movie you're not partaking. Just that was a great little like throwaway line. I think overall, very satisfied with this for a January movie, and it seems like this might be like the most polarizing January I can remember, because we have a couple of movies that really hit. This movie seems to be a fairly decent hit. We have Bad Boys 3,
big hit,
hit, and then we have movies that are getting panned as some maybe the worst January releases we've ever seen. Something like The Turning, Doolittle,
F Cinema score for The Turning,
just
Doolittle, by all accounts horrendous. Haven't seen it.
So it's setting up to be a very interesting year post a very big like IP heavy 2019. Right. So we'll keep our eyes on that, and especially with what is Con going on right now. What's the film festival that's going on right now?
Sundance, bro.
Sundance. Sorry, yeah, I got totally brain fart. But with Sundance, we're gonna start hearing about the better movies we should be hearing about this year, most likely. So hopefully picking up soon.